So back with part 2. All right. They hate the one that rebukes at the gate. All right. And that's at the gate of the nobles. And we're about to get into that. You can see here we're in Isaiah 13, right on the top, dark lettering before the first verse. It says, I don't know if you can see it, prophecies about Babylon, a message about Babylon. This is not talking about ancient Babylon. This is talking about the daughter of Babylon, all right, which is America, okay? It's talking about these Edomite devils, okay, because they're the ones that sit in the power seat and have been since the Renaissance period, okay? And that's a fulfillment of prophecy, people. And it's covered in the scriptures in Revelations, the 20th chapter, okay? And it's talking about the dragon, all right, the old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. That's a reference to the Edomite beast system, okay, throughout their history, okay? When you go to Revelations, the 17th chapter, all right, it'll give you a parable, all right? And it's going to give you the parable, of the 7 heads and 10 horns, okay? And clearly, what it's about, all right, the 7 Edomite beast heads systems, okay, the 10 horns simply just represent the vassal states, okay, that were under this system, okay? When you go back to the Roman Empire, they had, 10 vassals, stuff like that, okay? So anyway, who are the 7 heads? And the way the parable reads, to tell you the secret of the 7 heads, well, you had 5 fallen kings, right? Meaning kingdom, short for kingdoms. And that would be Germania Major, Germania Minor, the French, the Spanish, and the Greeks. Those are your 5 fallen kingdoms. All right? And then you had, the one that existed at the time that John the Revelator wrote the book of Revelations. And who's that speaking about? He was on the island of Patmos in the salt mines in his 90s. The Roman Empire, right? The 4th and final beast, right? And then it speaks of another that must come and must continue a short space, and that would be Britannia, all right? Who's that? The British Empire, okay? So there are your 7, but it doesn't end there. As you keep reading the parable, it'll tell you that, there is an 8th that comes out of the 7. So what nation came out of the British Empire? What nation was started with 13 British colonies? Yeah, America. You understand? And that 8th head goeth into perdition. Into what? Destruction. You understand? All right. Enough with the background. So let's read about this. We'll start at verse 2. Lift ye up the banner on the high mountain. Okay? The banner are the scriptures, the Bible. Okay? So again, people, you have to understand that everything is coded. And if you can't decode the Bible, you ain't coming into any understanding. And the reason for that is Yahushua. Okay? He's the reason that you stumble, upon the scriptures, because you were not called in. Called meaning invited into the counsel of the Lord. Okay? You weren't sanctified and ordained to be a prophet unto the nations. It's that simple, because this is all covered in the scriptures. All right? So, lift ye up the banner, which would be the Bible, the scriptures, upon the high mountain, those that sit in the power seat, right, which would be the Edomites, all right, these Edomite devils. Exalt the voice unto them, shake their hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. There you go. All right, let's continue reading here. All right, we'll read down to around the 11th verse. All right. I have commanded my sanctified ones. Hello. We did lessons on that many times already. The sanctified ones, again, are talking about the 2 witnesses. Okay? The northern and southern kingdom of Israelites that you read about in the 11th chapter. All right, well, Revelations. Revelations, the 11th chapter. Okay, start at the top, read on down. All right, so I have commanded my sanctified ones, again, which would be, the prophets. All right, I have also called my mighty ones, the mighty ones of the angels, for even my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. All right, and the noise of a multitude in the mountains, again, representing nations, right? Like as a great people of tumultuous noise, all right, of the kingdoms of nations gathered together, the Lord Yahweh of hosts means of armies as in the angels. You can look that up, Blue Letter, Bible Concordance. He mustereth the hosts of the battle. So you see, what is the Lord telling you here? He is mustering the nations for war. Armageddon, World War III. You understand? It's him that's doing it. Whether they want to go into it or not, we'll all be destroyed. That's all nonsense. And they will do the will of the Lord. All right? Because the Lord controls all things. And everyone obeys the will of the Most High. You read that in Escalates 18:3. See? You understand? So if you don't know these scriptures, you don't know your precepts, you don't know the etymology of words, you don't understand that the Bible is coded, you were never meant to come in because you're never going to get it. You're never going to see. Okay? You're going to stay in the dark. All right? Give me a minute. We'll end this here. We'll be right back. All right? With parts 3 and 4. Shalom.